What's up, Epic 7? As promised, here's an RC8 team that does not use Wukong and clears in only 2 turns. Now, people have asked me, will they eventually be able to full clear in one entry without Wukong? And I'm relatively confident that once we get into these upper tier rift fragments, we'll be able to find a way to full clear this without Wukong. But for right now, this is my best, fastest clear team. And it is actually the exact same team we run with Wukong, but we're changing the frontliner. Let's go over the units real quick. Let's go over the rift fragments real quick. First, you're going to want to use the rift fragment that does 30% extra damage to all targets. You don't need the cleansing one because you've got a soul weaver. You don't need the healing one because we don't have a warrior in front, so this is our best RC2 fragment. For the RC8 fragment, again, we don't have a warrior in front, so this doesn't do us any good, and we don't have any thieves, so we may as well use the one that makes our Vivan into a monster. So this is the team. I'll go over the units in turn. First is Bernard. Again, like we've said several times, Bernard can be replaced with just about any cleansing soul weaver. Ray, Destina, Ocean Breeze Lulica. Plenty of options for this, but Bernard really is the best option because of his barrier spamming. So Bernard, all you need to do is make sure he's the fastest unit on your team, and at 198 he is the fastest unit on my team. You just want to make sure he goes first, and other than that, just give him as much HP as possible because his barrier size scales off his HP, so just focus on those 2 stats, nothing else matters. I like him on the Touch of Rekos artifact. If you have it, I think it's his best in slot. It makes him a tour de force healer, but you can get away with just about any heal boosting artifact like Shamadra's Staff, Guardian Ice Crystal, Celestine, and if you're built bulky enough, you can even pull off running him on Idol's Cheer to help CR manipulate your damage dealers, but I'm finding that's really not super necessary. The number 2 unit to go on our team is Vivan. Vivan's ideal for this because of the rift fragment. If you don't have Vivan, you can run Mui, but I don't think it'll be a 2-turn clear. It'll probably be a 3-turn clear at that point. But she is an acceptable replacement for Vivan. But everybody should have a Vivan. She was free after all, so go ahead and build her up and run her. If you've got the Radiant Forever artifact, that is her best in slot. It does giga damage. You will find this under the other tab in the Hall of Trial shop, so make sure you go pick one up. Even at plus 15, it's still 37% damage boost, which is better than Caladra. If you don't have the resources to get this artifact, just run Caladra. Etika Scepter is no longer viable on her because we've got the Rift Fragment that takes her S2's skill cooldown from 2 turns to 1 turn, so Etika Scepter really doesn't help us at all for that. I guess it might cycle her S3 a little bit, but kind of a waste. Unit tuned for 3rd on the speed rotation is Bellona. I put her on Elegiac Candle for extra chances for defense break. It's not required. I'm just doing this to pad our chance to get defense break at the start, because that's pretty important for the clears. If you don't have Elegiac Candle, just put her on Bloodstone for additional healing, Our Beautiful Seasons for extra damage. You could even run her on Wall of Order because with all of the tentacles that are up, that artifact should proc and put Gab on her almost constantly. You want her to have 105% effectiveness. The 105 effectiveness is what's going to give her the maximum chance to stick debuffs. Anything higher than 105 is wasted. Anything lower than 105 reduces your chance to stick defense breaks. Speed tune her so that she is the 3rd to go on the team. And other than that, give her as much damage as possible. I do like her on the number 2 EE if you can get it. It reduces the skill cooldown of Butterfly Fan. That's her S2 skill, so it does give you more AoE attacks, which is kind of important. But if you do not have this EE, it's not going to brick the runs. It will just help you be more efficient. If you do not have Bellona, not kidding here, the best replacement for her is Green Auden. Go back into Chapter 4 and turn your Savior Auden into Green Auden, but remember that doing that is going to mean you don't get Savior Auden as long as you're running her in Rift. You can't have both of them, and Rift lasts 4 months, so you got to be okay with not having Savior on for 4 months. An acceptable substitute would be to run Mui, and we change Senya out for a defense-breaking knight, like Albedo or Mort. Both of those would be fine in the front line, and they have defense breaks in their kit. Another option in place of Mui would be Green Euphine. Green Euphine does have defense breaks on her S1, and you should be able to get that on the boss before he fills up with tentacles and makes no room for a defense break. So those are kind of your options. But if you want the 2-turn clear, this is your team. The final unit I'm going to run in the front is Senya. She's my preferred because she has got the most resistance and she's got a self-healing EE. Now, I put her on Lifesteal set to increase her ability to self-heal. I don't think it's needed as long as you have this EE that recovers health when she uses Spear of Vengeance. That's her S1 skill. But having the Lifesteal and this EE for sure makes her strong enough to frontline. I've got her on the Sword of Azera artifact. You can also pick up this artifact in the Holo Trials shop. If you don't have it, you can try Proof of Valor, and that should give you enough bulk, but Sword of Azera is just straight up a better Proof of Valor for knights when you're fighting against boss monsters. So pick that one up in the Holo Trials shop under the other tab. Other than that, nothing else really matters. Just some bulk to survive. She doesn't need the ER. A little bit of speed is nice so that she can cycle her skills, or not cycle her skills, so she can cycle her turns and heal, but really she is just there to be a damage sponge while the rest of the team takes care of the job at hand. Okay, so this is the team. Let's fire it up and see how it does. Start of the fight, the boss does his AoE attack, debuffing everybody. Senya would put barriers up, but we all have buff block. We cleanse it, making way for Vivan to give everybody an attack buff. We get swatted. This is nice. All of the knights we mentioned before do have at least one AoE attack, so we get rid of a tentacle with that. Bellona comes in with her S3, putting a defense break on the boss, getting rid of another tentacle. Vivan uses her S2, and because of the EE, Vivan will constantly do her S2. Which is fantastic. That's what's going to help make this so clean. There is an extra attack from, or a counter attack from Senya, healing her up. Bellona uses her S2, gets rid of a tentacle. Vivan with another S2. She spams right into it. You'll never see an S1 on Vivan again. She will constantly S2 until her S3 is back and she's able to give us a touch up on the attack buff. Otherwise, constant S2 spamming. And with that artifact, that's some serious damage. We all get sucked down the swirling toilet bowl, and the boss is going to self-cleanse all of the debuffs. That kind of sucks, but at least we got rid of most of the tentacles, except they're about to come back. Tentacles are back. Bellona is going to slap down one of them. We've still got room for a defense break on there, so hopefully Bellona can get us that defense break. No more room for defense breaks, so we're going to have to run this without one. So our score is going to be a little bit lower, but we'll still be able to clear this in 2 entries, even without that second defense break. There's an attack buff, a little bit of a heal. We have 7 turns left, and we've got to get this bar up here down to 8x. Now we're down to 9. And there we go. We just hit the halfway point, and we still have 5 turns left, so we're going to push pretty well past the halfway point. Now we're down to 7. Bellona almost cut, but unfortunately we didn't get that last hit off. So in 1 entry, we did 42%. And this is only at RC9. It would have done about maybe 43, 44% at RC8, but I think it's pretty clear that once we run this a second time, we full clear the bar as long as you stick that first defense break. If you don't stick the first defense break, it's going to take a 3rd entry, but that's true for the Wukong team as well. So, what's this mean? This means that basically if you have Wukong, you clear 1 turn faster than without. Now, I am relatively confident that we'll be able to take care of that last 42% by RC21, that we will be able to have single entry teams. We won't know until we get there, but hopefully this video, this guide helps you build up a farmable Rift team without Wukong. Remember that 2 entries is still substantially better than running hunts. So even if you can only do it in 2 entries, heck, even if you can only do it in 3 entries, it is still better than hunts. So get in here and get that gear. If you have any questions, ask them in the comment section. If you have any suggestions or need alternatives, you can also ask that there, or jump in my Discord with the link in the description. Shoot me a DM and I'll help you out with your alternatives and help you get your Rift taken care of. Other than that, you guys have a great rest of your weekend. Take care, everybody.